Welcome back. Well, President Trump asking Elise Stefanik to withdraw her nomination for ambassador to the United Nations. He said he'd rather keep her in a congressional leadership role because Republicans need all hands on deck to help implement his agenda. Trump posting this on Truth Social. Elise Stefanik has been a vital part of our efforts from the very beginning. I have asked Elise, as one of my biggest allies, to remain in Congress with a very tight majority. I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. Stefanik discussing this last night on Hannity. Watch.
We need to secure the border, cut taxes, unleash American energy independence, and deliver these historic results on behalf of the president because of this tremendous mandate that the American people gave him. So I have been proud to be a team player. The president knows that. He and I had multiple conversations today, and we are committed to delivering results on behalf of the American people.
The other thing that the president wrote in that post was, I look forward to the day when Elise is able to join my administration in the future. She's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Elise. Joining me now is Texas Congressman Pat Fallon. Congressman, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Marie. How are you?
What's your reaction? I mean, I'm sure this was a disappointment for Elise Stefanik. How do you see it?
You know, it was a disappointment for a lot of us because Elise would have been great as an ambassador to the UN. It was surprising to us because we really thought that that was all but a done deal. However, you know, selfishly, she's an incredible member of Congress, so I'm glad to have her back. So it's kind of a mixed bag, I suppose. But I do think that, honestly, Maria, she will be in the administration at some point. She is incredible timber. I mean, she's very, very talented. She was a great conference leader, and I do think that she'll serve us well in Congress and eventually in the administration.
Congressman, give us a sense of sort of behind the headlines and how tough it is to get the votes required every time we're talking about this thin majority, whether it be budget issues, whether it be President Trump's agenda. How do you see it in terms of how tough it is with this very thin, razor-thin majority?
Marie, it's a lot like going to the dentist. I mean, we are constantly pulling teeth. And really, if you want to go beyond honesty and talk about frankness and candor, every time there's a big piece of legislation, you need pretty much all hands on deck. There's supposed to be 220 of us right now. There's 218. And if we lose 2 members, we can't pass anything. So it's very difficult to do. And, you know, we're always looking to craft the best product. But once we have a general consensus, I'd rather have that than not have anything at all. So it's tough, to be honest.
U.S. and China military officials hoping to hold talks in the near future. A Chinese Defense Ministry spokesperson said both sides have reached some preliminary consensus as a stable relationship serves the country's common interests. And a report published by U.S. intelligence agencies finds China poses the top threat to American interests, as we know, and is making steady progress toward the ability to seize Taiwan. I want to get your thoughts on that after CIA Director John Ratcliffe and FBI Director Kash Patel warned yesterday about China in that House hearing. Watch.
The PRC throughout Central and South America continues to attempt to use its soft power to gain a foothold. They use direct aid to countries that need it. They also provide funding to universities to get a foothold to create influence.
The Chinese, the Russians, Iranians, and other adversaries are utilizing their partners, just like they are doing in terms of how they move illicit fentanyl precursors into this country. They're moving humans in the same fashion.
Did you see an increase from the first Trump administration to the Biden administration on Russian and Chinese nationals crossing the border? Did it increase or decrease?
Yes, actually, so the PRC nationals crossing the southern border from 22 to 25 was 178,000.
178,000 Chinese nationals crossing the border. That is an incredible number. We've been reporting at least 50,000 over the last 2 years. Kash Patel just told us it's 178,000 Chinese nationals. That is a huge number, and I'm wondering, are all those people directed to come here, and why?
Well, Maria, that's what I wanted to ask Director Patel, and he told us 537% increase in Chinese nationals crossing the border from the Trump first administration to the Biden administration. 2,300% increase in Russian nationals. You cannot tell me every one of those Russian and Chinese that cross the border are going to be loyal to their new country. Unfortunately, they're going to be loyal some anyway. And it just takes a fraction to be loyal to Moscow or Beijing to wreak potential havoc, particularly if they're trained assets and operatives. So, yeah, that's very alarming. And China's been acting like a bully. And we have got to take this very, very seriously, considering that their economy is on par with ours. And they also have 4 times the population and a very aggressive posture internationally, with Xi Jinping consolidating power more so than any Chinese leader since Mao.
Well, good point. So what are we doing about it?
We're going to, well, some of the things I can't tell you, but the things I can are Chairman Mike Rogers in the Armed Services Committee I serve on as well. We're looking to plus up many of our more innovative defense systems. We are focusing on quality of life, finally recruiting, which, by the way, has been a crisis over the last 3-4 years. The major 3, the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy, hadn't been hitting their recruiting goals. We have turned that corner now, and I think that's in large part due to President Trump's leadership. But we need to continue to have a quality force, and we need to be innovative moving forward. You're talking about hypersonics, which China has an edge on us right now, and a bunch of various different things. AI is going to play a crucial role as well, and UAVs.
It's amazing that they've got an edge on us on hypersonics as well. President Trump is dealing with all of this. Meanwhile, the heads of NPR, PBS testified before the DOGE subcommittee this week. You had a chance to grill NPR CEO Catherine Mayer. Let's watch, and I want to get your reaction to something as well on the other side of this. Watch.
I do want to say that NPR acknowledges that we were mistaken in failing to cover the Hunter Biden laptop story more aggressively and sooner.
It's unfortunate that NPR ignored the Hunter Biden laptop story, but y'all did talk quite a bit about the debunked Russia collusion. Do you know how many times NPR interviewed Adam Schiff about
Congressman, I would love to say that we actually believe we made a mistake on the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Oh, they made a mistake, Congressman. Look, what are the odds that Catherine Mayer, the leftist NPR CEO, is on the board of Signal as well?
She's a hard lefty, too. And you see some of the comments that she made about how she's so tired and done with, quote unquote, late stage capitalism. And President Trump is racist and America is addicted to white supremacy. This is the CEO of NPR. And then I asked her further, how many Republicans do you have in your newsroom in Washington? And she said, well, we have some conservatives. I said, no, but when you look at party registration, it's 87 Democrats to 0 Republicans. That's not going to be fair, balanced. That's not going to produce a nonpartisan product. It's just not.
Is that a reason to defund NPR and PBS? Is Congress looking to defund NPR and PBS?
100%. I serve on the DOGE committee, and yes, we are. I mean, the American taxpayer, they can do whatever they want. The American taxpayer doesn't need to subsidize it. Considering that, for instance, with the PBS NewsHour over a 6-month period, Maria, they used the term far right 162 times. They used far left 6 times. They covered the GOP and Democratic conventions. 72% of the coverage on the Republicans were negative. 88% of the coverage on the Democrats was positive. You can go on and on here. And it's clearly there has been a bias for decades. Finally now, under President Trump's leadership, we're doing something about it.
Is there anything else to be done with regard to this Signal breach and the Atlantic reporter being on that call? I just find it just fascinating that she's on the board of Signal.
Yeah, that's awfully an odd coincidence. But as far as I think Mike Waltz acknowledged it was a mistake. Now, there's a difference between mistake, grave mistake, and crisis. It wasn't a crisis. John Ratcliffe testified under oath, and his reputation's impeccable, that there was no classified material discussed. So it's not going to happen again. It was definitely an error, and I think Mike's learned from it.
Congressman, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Maria. God bless. Take care.